mad about it that he got out. I remember he came to our council. Okay, that's fine.
Veterans oppose the continuation of the war in Iraq. Here's James Churchello, an Iraq war veteran, to speak out about our activities.
My name is James Churchello. I went to Iraq in March 2003. We're here today to condemn President Obama's plans to end the phased withdrawal of all troops from Iraq. We demand that he immediately withdraw all occupied forces, 50,000 troops and 200,000 contractors. It's not an end to the war. At the same time, veterans groups demand that he cease to send more troops into Afghanistan, as well as to end the bombings of the people in Pakistan. We have right here a member of IAW, Adam Kokesh, and he's going to speak a little bit also.
We're here to mark the 6th anniversary of the invasion of Iraq and reach out to the American people who have largely forgotten about the crimes that are being committed in all of our names. Sadly, most Americans who voted for Obama believed the hype, believed the propaganda, and thought that he was a peace candidate. For anybody who read the fine print, we knew that that was not the case. And all of our expectations of him of continuing an imperialist foreign policy, continuing the exploitation of the people of Iraq, and escalation in Afghanistan is all coming to fruition. So for those who expected some kind of change in our foreign policy, for people who expected to get some kind of peace from Obama, or any kind of reform or principled approach to the way we deal with countries all across the world, the way that we're supposed to respect the sovereignty of other nations, for all the people who drank the Kool-Aid, we are the worst hangover you have ever had. The crimes are still being committed in our names. The blood is on our hands as Americans as much as anybody else's. We are here as Iraq Veterans Against the War, supporting the march on the 21st, on this Saturday, being hosted by the Answer Coalition. We stand in solidarity with them in calling for the immediate withdrawal of all occupying forces from Iraq and Afghanistan, and reparations for the people of Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as full benefits for returning veterans. To see that Obama so carelessly throws around money for Wall Street, wants to pinch pennies here at the VA, wants to try to get, now we're grateful, we are relieved that he has rescinded that plan, but to see that he is even considering that shows that he has no consideration for the people that serve this country honorably and put their lives on the line for what they believe in. Compared to the way he treats Wall Street, the way he treats veterans is absolutely shameful. But if you really wanted to do something for veterans, if you really wanted to do something about PTSD, he would stop sending our troops to these feudal occupations where we have no confidence in our equipment, our mission, or our leadership. And those are the causes of post-traumatic stress disorder right there. When you can't have confidence in what you're doing, what you are putting your life on the line for, and you were going through those traumatic experiences, it's no surprise that we got veterans coming home and committing suicide in record numbers. And nothing that Obama has done is going to change that. Today we're conducting something where across from the White House, where we're posted across from the Oval Office, called Operation Not Change. Because perpetuating an occupation of Iraq for the exploitation of resources is not change. Escalating the occupation of Afghanistan for all the same criminal reasons is not change. The disregard that our veterans are experiencing has not changed, and our commitment in Iraq Veterans Against the War to achieving our objectives and ending these criminal occupations has not changed. And that's why we support war resistors, we support people who are speaking out, and those who are taking themselves out of the machine and refusing to fight in these criminal occupations. And that's why we have Tracy Harmon here, who was in the Army for 6 years and got out as a conscientious objector.
My name is Sergeant Tracy Harmon. I served in the U.S. Army Reserve for 6 years. I'm a veteran against the war, as a member of Iraq Veterans Against the War. I never deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan. Time came for me to I basically was able to step back and have a look at things. I had done some civilian travel in the Middle East and decided to file for conscientious objection in June of 2007. Was threatened by my command that if I went through with the process that I would risk being sent to Iraq without a weapon as a CO. because apparently conscientious objection is unheard of in the military, and they make it very difficult. I had to be interviewed by a chaplain, a psychiatrist, and I had to have a mental evaluation to make sure I was mentally stable to not want to take up arms against innocent civilians. And finally, an investigating officer. And after well over a year, I was released in October 10th of 2008. I'm recognized by the Army as a conscientious objector. Honorable discharge.
All right, so we also have Eric Murillo, who's with the Answer Coalition and a member of the Veterans and Service Members Task Force.
Soldiers these days are facing tour after tour after tour. I've got friends who are still in the military who are going into the third or fourth tour into one of these combat zones, which is unfair. We would like to ask the members of Congress who voted for the war to go ahead and volunteer their children and send them to as many tours as they want to send our service members. We need jobs and education. Those are the main things that veterans are demanding and asking for. We want jobs. People want to have an opportunity to get out of the military and have a good opportunity to do something after that. Everyone knows about the problems that Walter Reed had recently, so we want to know why these problems haven't been addressed on a larger scale. I come from a largely military city. Fort Bliss is one of the largest bases in the country, and there aren't adequate facilities in my city for the veterans. As a matter of fact, veterans in the region have to travel to Albuquerque at times because they can't get taken care of in El Paso. And we see that as a huge problem. We think these things need to be addressed. One of the main things that I think needs to be addressed as well is the stop loss. Stop loss is something that has kept people in time well beyond their contracts. And recently, the administration talked about, well, there's problems with the AIG situation. We've got to honor these contracts that these CEOs get. And so these CEOs are getting millions of dollars, but we're not honoring service members' contracts. How are we honoring CEOs' contracts when we're ignoring veterans' contracts? Military members' contracts. Military members get extended. I was actually stop loss to go to Afghanistan. I was fortunate enough to tear my ACL, and that kept me from deploying to Afghanistan in 2005 in support of OEF. The last statement I have to make is I asked everybody that is out there that is watching to please join us and support us on March 21st. In spite of all the rhetoric, things haven't changed. We know that the war is continuing. 50,000 troops is still a large number of troops. We want that to end, and we ask everybody to support us and join us.
Americans and family members come out to D.C. to protest these wars, to tell President Obama that a phase withdrawal is not in our interest, that we want all troops out immediately, that the idea that we need to leave U.S. soldiers in Iraq to help the people from a civil war is nonsense. It's not only nonsense, it's racist. So, in this 6th year on the war, my direct involvement has shown me that this is a criminal war. It is a criminal war for oil. That is one of my first missions, was to secure the Kirkuk oil fields while the people were being were looting museums and whatnot. We were not there for museums. So veterans are coming from all across the country, as well as students and other people, to say to President Obama that you're not going to rewrite history and make this a humanitarian mission. This is a war of aggression on the people of Afghanistan. This is a war of aggression on the people of Iraq. And veterans and service members say, if you do care about the troops, then not one more soldier should go to Iraq. Not one more Marine should go to Afghanistan to die for corporations' oil and their greed. And on the demonstration that's going to take place March 21st, it's going to start at 23rd and Constitution at 12 p.m. We're going to be marching not only on the Pentagon, but into Crystal City, where we're going to be marching to the military offices of Boeing, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, and KBR, and bringing coffins draped in the flags of all the victims that have died from U.S. imperialism, from Afghani flags to Iraqi flags, Palestinian, Pakistani, Yemen, Somalia, as well as the United States. And we're going to deliver these coffins to these CEOs that are profiting off of the death of U.S. servicemen, off the death of Iraqis, and the death of Afghans and other countries.